Do it. Do your thing. Do your thing, movie player.
Ain't no movie player.
Whatever it's called.
Ain't no soul stealing movie player. Do it.
Yeah. One of these days I'll come up with some type of cool intro for the show, but not today.
Yeah, man. If you want to see a great intro, go to a guy named Daisuke Beppu. Beppu is his last name, and he's a dude in Daisuke in Tokyo, I think, is the name of the account, and it's his account is just him. Usually, all the stuff I've seen is him reviewing Criterion Collection stuff because he has all of it. He gets it as it comes out, and he's cool. He's got a real cool voice and just an awesome demeanor. He's been popping up in my feed a lot lately because he had like a really ridiculous copyright thing kind of, filed against him. It's cool now. It got solved in like 2 days, so it's no problem. But anyway,
YouTube do love that.
yeah, it's a lot of people in the comment section explaining how it works and why it doesn't work and why it's such a piece of crap. But it's cool. It got taken care of, I'm glad to say. But they were what the heck movie was it? Oh man, I can't believe I forgot now which one it was, man. But I mentioned Eric Romero a minute ago, and it was one of his movies in the excuse me, in the box set. And I believe it's Love in the Afternoon. I'm pretty sure that's the name of it. And there are 2 movies called Love in the Afternoon. And so the studio that owns the other Love in the Afternoon, oh man, you got to take the video down because there's clips and it's referencing our intellectual property. Well, A, it's a completely different movie, and B, if you've ever watched Daisuke before, it's not that there weren't clips of the movie that they were talking about in there. He never uses clips from anything ever, so it's like, it was one of those things where he's a really sweet guy, just a great, good-hearted person, so he's like, man, this sucks, I hate that it's like that. And people were really nice in the comments, like, dude, it'll get fixed. This is just them being ungodly litigious, but it'll be fine because clearly you're totally good, and it's good. But anyway, his opening is the same literally every single video, and it's freaking awesome. It's worth going to watch just if you watch it once. He's awesome.
Cool. Man, that's I watch a lot of guys that go and they'll do it's the type of thing that I'll click on a video and like, what is wrong with me? Why am I watching this? Why am I watching guys shop for figures when I just got home from doing it? But people will be in Walmart or wherever, and they don't want to go back in a certain section because TV's blaring, and the second anything that's copyrighted gets on your video. But my good thing about this channel is that good luck. You want to try to collect some monetization because there ain't none, so I ain't gotta worry about it.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. It's always fun to be a creative type. They ain't got no goddamn money.
Hey.
Yeah, man, dude, if you can find it, let me know where it's at.
Have at it.
Yeah, we good, man. Yeah. Basically, this is us just going on the channel and being like, we're gonna talk about what the fuck we want to from now until forever, because what you gonna do?
There you have it.
You give me some of that money you stole.
Yeah. Kevin Nash paid it. Scott Hall paid his due.
Scott Hall's hell of a worker. He paid his due.
Fell off the boat.
On the subject, I got the best news in the whole wide world.
Cool.
There's a guy named Zombie Sailor who has a toy company who makes his good custom stuff. And he recently did the major wrestling figure guys. Now, he did them as they are now. It's like Mattel style. I'm sorry. Yeah. Sorry. I always have to stop. Oh, sorry. Hasbro style. Hasbro style. And they're sweet, man. It's Matt Cardona and Brian Myers, and they're good, and I love them, and they're real cool. But apparently, they have also signed an exclusive deal with Ricky and Robert. So I'm flipping, because I want those so bad. And it's like the only thing better than them doing it is that they're doing them in that style. I'm like, dude, that is like a freaking dream. I can't wait. And I have no idea what they will cost. I probably don't want to know, but it won't matter because that's a Target.
I'm interested.
Yeah, that is a Target God level piece. I got to do it.
If they had to have been under, at the very least, a Legends contract for that year.
Yeah.
And Mattel dropped the ball on that. Micro Brawlers haven't done them. So why not? Somebody's got to do it.
Somebody has got to do them because the only ones that I know of, there were like old, I think the big rubbery ones, it was never both of them though. I think Ricky had a figure made way back in the day, but it wasn't both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jax put them out. And Jax, we've talked about it many times, man. I think Jax, for that era, early Jax is garbage. It's weird. You always have to quantify what era you're talking about because the early stuff was crap, but.
Yeah.
Towards the end and right before they lost the contracts, their stuff was pure feast or famine. Now, they had a run about 4 or 5 years where it was all feast. Everything was great all the time, and then some of them weren't good. And unfortunately, among the ones that it's not even that they weren't good, their Rock and Roll Express was just terrible. I mean, they were trash. The figures are awful. The idea for the little, like, oh, you need soft goods to wrap around the legs. Awful. The faces look nothing like either guy. It's terrible, man. And it stinks because they came out at the same time as that Midnight Express, which is actually quite nice. That Bobby and Stan is okay. But idiot that I am and piglet that I am, because apparently them doing Ricky and Robert ain't enough. That's the next thing I thought was like, dude, what if they do the Midnight Express? Oh my goodness, let's do it. Oh, Bobby, Stan, and Dennis, baby, let's do it. I would die. That would be so awesome.
Get down with it.
Oh, man.
I can get behind that.
They are probably the only tag team on earth that I like as much, if not better, than Ricky and Robert. And Ricky and Robert mostly is nostalgia because they were good guys, and I shouldn't say mostly because they are hella good. You go back and watch those matches, they know what they're doing. But it's them and Stan and Dennis and Bobby. And Arn and Tully, and it's like, that's pretty good era. they were okay, man.
Well, that reminds me of one thing I did watch this week is I watched the AEW show, and good God Almighty, I watched Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, and I have a little bit of a qualifier. First time in a long time, I can't remember the last time I saw a match and immediately had to watch it again. And to be fair, the first time it was just kind of on. I was doing some other stuff, but I could just tell this is so good. This needs more attention.
It'll just catch you. Yeah, I understand.
And man, good God Almighty, I freaking loved it.
It was. I'm thrilled that they got to headline the show. I am thrilled that they booked it as well as they did in this sense. I know, and this is the thing that we've been talking about forever, all of the gnashing of teeth over the AEW women's division, I don't see it. They have got talent there. There are good people there. Is it as good as WWE? No, but that's not what people say. People don't say it's not as good as WWE. People talk about it like it's goddamn Alpo. People just talk mad shit about it for no reason, because I got news for you. Hikaru Shida's pretty damn good. And Hikaru Shido had that match with, I always want to say Rio, but it's hard. They're so similar. The names are so similar. And so when I say Rio, I mean Rio. If I remember her last name, nobody would have a problem with it, but I keep forgetting it. But that was an unbelievable match. All anyone talks about is that garbage at the ending that didn't happen, but they skip over the women's championship match. But if you're actually paying attention, that's 2 in a row now. That's 2 ladies, top of the card. I shouldn't say top of the card because Rio and Rio, I do it every time. And Shida wasn't the main event, but it was the women's main event. It was the last, I guess, basically the last 2 women's matches that have ended shows for them. Oh, baby. And I love it. One of the main reasons I love anyway. So the reason I bring up that match is that there is talent there, but nobody wants to see it. Because if it's not Dr. Britt, nobody cares. And a lot of that's Cornette's fault because all he's done is blown sunshine up her ass because she's the white girl. She's the only one that can be famous. It's got to be her. And people believed it. People took that and ran with it for some reason.
Yeah.
Old Dr. Britt's had a good fucking match now, hadn't she? And that's the
thing.
Yes. They were smart enough. They were smart enough to take the baddest woman in that locker room. Not even close. Thunder Rosa is, as far as like, well, couldn't none of these girls work WWE? Thunder Rosa would be, look at it, NXT's women's division, and as unbelievably stacked as it is, Thunder Rosa would walk in there tomorrow and contribute, man. She'd be right there. And that's her from the NWA. That's her from Jump. I remember seeing her at center stage with Holodead as the tag team. Twisted Sisters, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
this is great. I loved it. So I'm very happy that that's the decision they decided to make, because we
Mm-hmm.
love it when you have like, okay, you got your star, you're going to be the star in the future. We need you to work with really good people. Excuse me. That's what they decided to do. And I say all of that so that I can say this. It's a great decision. It was very, very cool how they did it. But what the two of them were able to pull off, I still wasn't ready for. It was
Yeah.
so impressive. It was
Yeah.
so impressive, man. I thought they were great.
Mm-hmm.
I'm totally with you. I thought they were awesome.
Yeah, man. And I listened to the Marty and Sarah podcast, and this is a similar point to that deals with this match, but it was just kind of a neat thing that I'd never thought of. That one of their friends that is in the business had told him that, one of the things that you do after a match like that, where there's, I think what they were talking about was like glass getting in your skin, and how do you pick that out? You just like let it kind of work its way out, and they're like, take a cold shower, and that was the type of thing that I was like, I never would have thought to do that, because I hate doing that, but they're like, that's what you have to do, and I I don't know if it would work on thumbtacks, but it be worth it to try.
Yeah,
Yeah,
serious. At the very least, it'll numb you up when you pop them out.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
So,
that was not to get too negative, but the Corny and Last review and them freaking out about thumbtacks is, I don't know why people have such a hard time with thumbtacks. It's all like, man, I had a thumbtack in my knee. It doesn't hurt that bad. That's not the point. The point is when people get them all stuck in their back and stand up, you can see it on camera. That's
hmm
the whole point. And
yeah,
there's no way you don't know that.
hmm
You're Mr. I'm inside the business. I booked the business. I made Ohio Valley Wrestling. There's no way you don't understand visual spectacle.
yeah.
There's just no way. Don't be
It
unintentionally dense or intentionally dense. I can't stand that, man. It's like,
it
if you don't know, you don't know, but you know. You're just saying this stuff because it allows you to bitch about something you want to bitch about.
it
But it was,
it looks impressive, and
that's
to
it.
me, man, as bad as the ones are in the back, which I don't ever plan on finding out. It was the one Thunder Rosa had one like in her thigh.
Yeah, man.
That's the one I was just like, "Ugh."
Well, see, that's the thing on the subject of thumbtacks, and then because I'm with you, thumbtacks in the back and all that stuff. I think about Triple H and Foley's street fight at Royal Rumble, and Foley got all tacked up, and you feel bad, but dude, it's Triple H catching that piece of that plank from that pallet. That's the
all in his calf.
nastiest. That is the nastiest thing. Like, whoa! That is the
Yeah,
gross. Oh my god! It's the nastiest thing, and it sucks too because when it happens, you see him look up like, "What the fuck?" It's like, "What
yeah,
the fuck was that, man?"
yeah.
I'm like, dude, I feel.
Oh God.
Oh god! I feel bad for it, man.
There's some type of little back in the day when I had the DVD of it, and it's like this bonus features. Like, now we get to clean it out and be sure there's not any crap still down in there.
Oh,
Like,
sure.
it gets better, kids.
Yeah, it's going to be great. We're going to
Yeah,
take this chunk of wood out of your leg, and that's going to suck. But since it's wood, it can splinter, and we can't
yeah.
leave any of that in there. So let's dig a little more.
Gonna be glad we did this. And they go all. I just had this picture images of like Rambo 3 on that ass. Ugh!
Yeah, dude,
Like,
seriously, man.
sear it with a knife.
Rambo 3. I think about the last Rambo with just the kill scenes in that movie are some of the
Oh
funniest
Lord,
shit you will ever
Lord.
see in your life because it's just. I don't know. We've talked about it before, man. I know it's dumb, and boy, this has gotten me in trouble with a couple of people. But I don't know if the turret gun in it's one of. It might be the funniest death I've ever seen. The
Mm-hmm.
bazooka in Punisher Warzone, the fence
Mm-hmm.
in Punisher Warzone. Those are pretty funny deaths. But I think Meet Joe Black is the funniest death scene ever because, boy, it ain't supposed to be.
No.
It's not supposed to be as funny as it is, but I'm telling you, if you like Meet Joe Black, boy, it pisses you off when people say, "Oh, I don't like that movie," and let me fucking tell you why. When he goes tripping the light fantastic after getting hit by not one, but two buses.
Bam, bam.
I'm laughing. That shit's hilarious, and I'm just out.
I mean, I could just see whoever was filming that was like, this is going to be traumatic. It's going to pull them in. Instead, it's hilarity that ensues.
I am thinking that I don't remember who directed that movie, but I'm thinking that everybody's sat and watched an entire cast reel on a movie before, and you see why those fucking things cost so much money because you're employing a city at a time. That's a lot of people. It's a lot of people, a lot of different sets of eyes, a lot of different opinions. There is no way there wasn't someone that knew that shit sucked. There's no way, even if it's just him and the special effects team and the people in the editing bay. There had to have been a lot of chewed knuckles to get through it. You don't want, I don't want to get fired, man. But
Yeah. We're watching my masterpiece. Shut up.
That's right. But there had to be at least one person during the dailies that saw that and went, God damn. Had to be one. Somebody got fired for that.
Is it really necessary to go that hilarious with this death scene?
Yeah, seriously, that's the ultimate, that's the perfect adjective, man. Hey, that death scene, that's a little hilarious.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
I mean, if we could have exploded him like RoboCop.
Dude, seriously, that would have been awesome if Rambo brings the Jeep in. Yeah, seriously.
Because you had a bad day.
I can't discuss Rambo or anything Stallone anymore and not think about Handsome Squidward.
Oh, yeah.
I'd never seen that. And then the first time I saw it was in the context of that's like Stallone, and then you see it, it's like
it is. It's him.
I'm about to get fired from Laughing Joe Black. You mentioned Marty and Sarah, and I don't want to go into detail, just that if you hear this and you haven't heard that, please check it out. You believe that wrestling confession, the Dusty story. That was my God. Awesome. It's so good. I thought it was cool too. I thought it was great because it's one of the things I love about them. But they built it up the whole show, where Sarah's like telling us, like, he's been torturing me with this all week, man. And Marty's just like, dude, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Yeah. It's like, hey, he won't tell me, and it's like, it's gonna be worth it. And it was. It's totally great. But they did such a good job of like building up to it, and they got to it, and I was just like,
oh man,
I hit the floor. It was awesome. It's so cool.
I feel like I've witnessed that.
Yeah. Before. It was amazing, man.
Yeah, I could totally believe every word.
Yeah, man. I think it's Tears of Sarah Joy, I think is the name of the episode or something like that. The new Marty and Sarah. It's like, it's great. And it's great because it's them and they're awesome. But yeah, when it gets to that Wrestling Confessions, I think is what they call it. Unbelievable. So cool.
Shirley, confession. There are very few podcasts that I can sit through the songs introing their segments.
Yeah.
But that's the one show that okay, these are cool because they're short, sweet, to the point.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Just these funny little jingles, and it's all good. That show. The best endorsement I can give of that show is I honestly had this happen this afternoon when I listened to that one. And I don't remember the last time I listened to an episode of that show that whenever they go into the wind down voice and they're talking about how, man, appreciate you listening, stuff like that. Every single time they go to the outro, I'm just like, oh man, is it over already? I do it every time. Yeah. I always think that it went fast and I'm like, oh man. So that's the best thing that could possibly be said.
Mm-hmm. It's a good compliment,
Yeah.
Because there's so we're talking about the wrestling figure guys show, and they've got some intros into all their segments that they loved, and I'm just like skip, and I don't have to hear that 30-second song every time.
I am awful about my reaction videos because I love watching people react to stuff. But every single time I'm like, zip, okay, can I see the album cover yet? Okay, cool. Now we're there. I do it every time because once the album cover pops up, they're listening to the song. And I feel bad because most of them are real cool people that I like, but I'm like, dude, I know that you got to do, man, like, subscribe, and share, and comment, and I know you got to do that on every video, but I don't have to watch it on every video. Yeah. I guess that's what I'm saying.
There's ways around that mess.
Yeah, buddy. Thank goodness.
Man, but my other thing I watched this week, I finally checked out the first episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and it's one of those. It's kind of what I was needing. It's like, man, here's a nice break, guys. You know.
You'd mentioned it even before WandaVision came out, and it was your breakdown of like what you thought it was going to be was, I mean, not what you thought the show was going to be, but like you're talking about the ebb and flow.
Mm-hmm.
That made perfect sense. So I hope that's what they're doing.
Yeah, man. And it's one of those that I kind of had it on, and you know, as far as what's going on, it's like, okay, I don't know yet, but you don't need to know yet. So you kind of feel like it's doing what it's supposed to do. I think are you still there?
Excuse me.
There you go. It kind of froze for a second. I think we both kind of.
Yeah, sorry about that. We got Kenny Omega there.
Yeah, I'm just into this one. So
sweet, man.
I think it's going to be a nice little break from the tragedy that was WandaVision.
Man, WandaVision rules, man. That show is so awesome. What only thing I've really been watching lately, man, is I took your advice and I got started on Schitt's Creek, and
I saw I've done that myself.
Oh, my bad. Oh, well, here's the thing. This is my thing about it. What you're expecting to dig about it, it's great. Eugene Levy's awesome. Catherine O'Hara is awesome. It's a little, this is mean to say, but it's true. It's a little frustrating that this is what they gave Catherine O'Hara her award for. She's funny and it's real cool. But there's other stuff she's done that's just her. Way more original and that's a really shitty thing to say. But again, a lot of the stuff in this one, here's my thing with Schitt's Creek and the reason I stayed away from it. I'm like, this looks like Arrested Development warmed over. And that's pretty much what it is. But I just left it on in the background. I worked my way through. I'm into the 4th season.
Cool.
And that, I'm sorry to say, you got to wait till season 4. But season 4, there have been a couple episodes that were excellent, man. Real good. Because I guess the thing that turned me off about it, there's a couple of things. The character Stevie, I like Stevie, but a little Stevie goes a long way. And here's why. This is what I realized. The character Stevie is pretty much every girl character who is just around because is she going to date the main character? Are they going to go out? Are they going to get together? Are they going to go out? And what I mean by that is all those characters the same thing. And I finally realized what they were. They are Darlene Connor clones. And the problem with the Darlene Connor clone is that you want the chick to be the tough girl who's awesome and always knows what to say and is super sarcastic and super witty, ha ha ha. But it worked for Darlene Connor because she's one of the main characters on the show. And sometimes Darlene was going through some shit. So it goes back and forth. It's totally okay. With these other characters, they're not in the show enough for you to get that other side. So they just show up to get the zingers Urkel. Nobody gives a shit about Urkel, man. And so anyhow. But again, 4th season, they incorporate Stevie more and more and more and more into the show. And eventually they finally get to, I can do this without ruining it. It's the episode where they change the sign at the motel. And the way they pay that off was great. So it was so good, man. So I'm digging it. I'm really happy. I'm glad I stuck it out because unfortunately it's one of those things. And to be fair to Pop, that's not a streaming service. They were making them for weekly TV, but there are certain things, especially that were made back in the day. If you do the DVD play all, if you do Netflix, boy, it's hard to get through them because there's just so much repetition where if you got 6 days between them, you don't care. But that was on the subject of WandaVision. That was something I thought they did a great job with because I did not wait, obviously. I watched all of them in 2 days. But it just, man, the pacing on that thing, they just did such a good job with it. But I like that people that make stuff for streaming now are conscious of that. It's like, this is good, man. So anyway, I don't mean to diss it. It's a cool show, and Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara will definitely keep you in there. But just stick it out. They wind up doing it's too much like I make fun of 40-Year-Old Virgin all the time, where you got really close to making kind of a nice, sweet, poignant movie, and then you got to have your stupid hippy dippy sing along at the end because no, guys, we're just kidding. We didn't mean it.
Mhm.
Take Ricky Gervais' advice. It's funny when you say that people are like, "Be mean to celebrities." It's like, sure, that Ricky Gervais is unbelievable. We've talked about it before. At just absolutely biting humor and
Mhm.
genuinely sentimental, emotional stuff.
Turn on a dime.
Whichever one he's going after at any given moment, boy, he gets there. And he's great. And I love that. And I guess that's what skewed me and messed me up so bad is that now when you do too much of one and there's none of the other, it bums me out, man. It sucks.
Yeah.
But that's okay because eventually they did get there and they did real well with it. Right, guys, good for y'all.
Cool. That's what's up, man.
And man, I'm not sure what else I've been looking at, to be honest with you. I realized I was looking over Criterion, so I realized I got 15 of them I've never seen. I'm like, dude, what is wrong with you, man? 15? You got to get watching some movies, man.
What's wrong with him?
What's wrong with you?
It's that boy thing. Man, that's really all I've got going on.
What else was I doing?
No, I didn't have much for this week.
Yo, it's all good, man. I mean, we're talking about them Hawks, baby. They won 8 in a row now.
Heck yeah.
8 in a row. I love it, man. And it's crazy. They made a really good point. Jerome and I want to say it was Jerome and Stinger this past weekend. I can never remember, man, because you've got Jerome Jereminovich, you got the Stinger, and you got Renee Montgomery. And it's very strange because when Renee first showed up, I love Jerome and Stinger. So when anybody comes in to replace the Stinger, I'm like, oh, but you give her a shot because why not? And she's awesome. Renee Montgomery is awesome. Renee Montgomery also now owns the Dream, so lots of reasons to pull for her. But anyway, it's good stuff, man. And oh crap! But they were talking anyway about one of the things to keep in mind about what the Hawks are doing right now, especially on the defensive end, is this is without DeAndre Hunter. DeAndre Hunter is with absolutely no competition our best defender. Not even close. He was drafted to be our best defender. That was the whole point. And I'm like, oh my God. So let me ask you this. See if this is crazy, because this was something that came up because unfortunately any Hawks conversation now is, well, Collins, they're going to lose Collins. You know Collins is leaving, right? And I'm like, yeah, probably. I hate it, but it's probably true. And so the target keeps moving as to who wants him and where he's going to go. And the last thing I heard was Golden State. And I know this is stupid, but I'm here to tell you, I don't know what Golden State's draft slots look like. Probably not great because they're back to being good already. I tell you what, if you decide that there is no way that you can pay John Collins what he wants, because you got to pay Trae Young too, man, would you trade John Collins for multiple first-round picks and Klay Thompson? Knowing that Klay Thompson is injured, I'd take that trade in a second, because it's just like going back to one of the first conversations you and I had about Trae Young in Atlanta. Now you've got to draft Klay Thompson, and it does not mean, the 1-2 punch. It don't mean the left hook. It doesn't mean this, straight right to go with the left hook. I'm talking about that nasty lockdown, oh my God, defender. That's what Klay Thompson is. As good as he is offensively, Klay Thompson defensively, he's probably the best defensive guard in basketball. Dude's unreal. So you put him out there with Trae, that would work. But oh my God, you put him out there with Trae and DeAndre, man, Hawks give up 75 a night, man. It would be unbelievable, man. So it's a weird situation, and as long as we're pushing for the playoffs, I understand. But you don't want to lose Collins for nothing. Look, man, if this push is all you get, go for it, man. And don't get me wrong, I know the Hawks aren't winning the Eastern Conference. Let me rephrase that. It's not the Hawks aren't winning the Eastern Conference. I'll say it, since nobody in the national media can say anything other than, what does the New Jersey Nets mean for LeBron? What's it going to mean? LeBron can't win another championship because of the Nets. This is not LeBron can't win because of the Nets. This is, if the Brooklyn Nets don't make the NBA Finals, that's the biggest bust in the history of this fucking league. That's a factual statement. That's not even my opinion. Look at those three guys. Look what they're doing. Look how they're playing, which is awesome. But all of this, so much pressure on LeBron. Can he beat these guys? Baby, the pressure's in Brooklyn, man. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
God, you get Durant and Kyrie and James Harden on the same team. This is it. They have to win the Eastern Conference at least.
Mm-hmm.
They will be, yes, including even if it's the Lakers. I think they'll be prohibitive favorites in the finals
Mm-hmm.
against anybody, no matter who it
Yeah.
is, man. But it is. I
Yeah.
do think it's preciously cute that I haven't heard one thing about how weak the Eastern Conference is, and it's like y'all need to bring that back up. There are good teams in the East, but there's always been good teams in the East. But there ain't never
Mm-hmm.
been one that loaded. The
Yeah.
Brooklyn Nets are very fun to watch, and it's
Mm-hmm.
neat. It's real cool. But the Nets right now are what everybody said the Warriors were, and the Warriors
Mm-hmm.
weren't that. They signed Kevin Durant. They drafted every damn body else. That was like star stuff. They
Mm-hmm.
drafted, and they're genuine big three. They drafted all of them. Well, the Heat went and got LeBron. They created the big three. Just got a bunch of free agents. You mean like Brooklyn? Because they didn't draft any of those guys, man. It's just like
Mm-hmm.
the double standard makes me nuts. You know it does. I
Yeah.
can't stand that stuff. But and that'll dovetail back into Cornette because I finally figured out how to put into words the thing that I dislike the most about that guy.
Yeah.
Um, but and I hate to say it that way because I sound like I'm dissing the Nets. I really am enjoying watching them play because with basketball,
Mm-hmm.
it's the Hawks, and then everybody else is pretty much tied for second. There's nobody I don't like. Maybe Philly,
Mm-hmm.
but even with the thing with Philly is with Doc Rivers being there, it's kind of fun to pull for them
Yeah.
too. And to
Yeah.
be blunt, for all of the Joel Embiid's the MVP, it's got to be Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid, he's the best. He's the man. He's got to be the MVP. I think Ben Simmons turning into Ben Simmons under the
Mm-hmm.
watch of former point guard Doc Rivers. I don't think that's a coincidence, man.
Yeah.
And I like it. I'm happy for Ben. I think with Ben, we talked about it on here before, and I'll mention it again. Ben Simmons was an LSU kid, so they liked him because of his SEC bona fides. But the
Mm-hmm.
reason that ESPN fell in love with that guy is because he used to date one of the whatever her name is, one of the Jenner kids.
Okay. Yeah.
He used to date one of them, and so they loved that. And then she dumped him, and all of a sudden ESPN don't like him no more. And I'm like, of
Mm-hmm.
course you don't. But now
Mm-hmm.
he's far better as a player than he was when y'all were all up his ass. So
Mm-hmm.
fuck you is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Joel Embiid just keeps getting better. That's not why the Sixers are better.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, got sidetracked. But the Cornette thing. Excuse me. I guess I shouldn't say finally figured out how to. We've said it before, but I was watching or listening to his review for Britt and Thunder Rosa, and he was pretty good as far as like giving them credit for doing well. He's just all like, it's just garbage what they got to do and thumbtacks and all this stuff and lottie die and thing. Him and Brian Last both had kittens over thumbtacks,
Mm-hmm.
and it comes back to something I've asked numerous times in various ways. If you have such a huge problem with the dissolving or dissolution of the territories, how come Vince never gets blamed for that? Because history will
Mm-hmm.
tell you that's who did it.
Yeah.
Oh man, thumbtacks and all this indie bullshit, this hardcore garbage wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Your boy Mick Foley invented that stuff, or popularized it in America. Those are his
Yeah.
things.
Mm-hmm.
Vince McMahon, whose house you hung out at and who you still pat on the ass and praise all the time. Mick Foley, who you damn near fillate when you talk about him. So that's my problem with
Mm-hmm.
Cornette, is that I am somebody. I'm a Sagittarius. I am
Mm-hmm.
what is it? I used to know the little
Mm-hmm.
acronym. I can look it up real quick. But to people that like this kind of stuff, or to people that this means anything, you'll know what I'm talking about. Hey, you know what I'm talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? Oh hell yeah! You know what I'm talking about.
I was watching a couple of episodes of Veep the other day, man. I swear to God, Gary Cole might be the funniest guy in the world, and it's weird. He's different kinds of hilarious in everything he's in, man.
Mm-hmm.
INFPT. I am a Sagittarius who is an INFPT. So what that means is that I am very, very bad to let my emotions lead me into stuff. I wish I was
Okay.
more logical, but I'm not. Wish I was more rational, but I'm not. I feel my way through life. That's how I do it.
Yeah.
Here's how I keep myself on the adult train tracks.
Mm-hmm.
If you are going to be someone who leads with emotion, you have must, and I think must, or for me anyway, I had to try to hardwire myself to be as objective as possible. So people that are super logical, I love it. People that lead with emotion, I understand. I'm one of you. But people that do not have objectivity, I want to punch in the face until they are dead or wish they were dead. And that's my problem with Cornette, is that he lets his personal feelings for whatever given professional wrestler we're discussing, good or bad, shade everything else, and I can prove it. If he's talking about Kenny Omega, if he's talking about the Young Bucks, you already know what he's going to say. But is it because he genuinely hates that style of wrestling? Oh, Kenny Omega, 5,000 moves, and they kick out of everything, and it's just so stupid, and none of it looks real, and it's all choreographed, and it's coordinated. Did I just describe Kenny Omega or Adam Cole? Because he sucks Adam Cole's dick all the time. And as far as I'm concerned, have at it, because Adam Cole is awesome.
Yeah.
See, I like both of them. I need you to justify and explain to me why you are okay with Adam Cole, who is a fine architect of the modern wrestling match, but you hate Kenny Omega. Oh, that's right, because you guys had a run-in early in his career, and he blew off your advice, and he disrespected Jim Cornette. It's going to be a theme for where we're going here. It's the exact same thing with the Young Bucks. It's the exact same thing. Loses his mind over their style and Lottie. If you don't like that style, okay, but it's because y'all ran into each other and they didn't drop to their fucking knees and worship at the altar of Cornette. That's why you don't like him. It's the same reason that he's okay with Vince McMahon, despite the fact that he fucking killed the territory system and he loves Mick Foley. But I got no use for that trash can garbage wrestling. Now you got to go out there and die, and you got to just have a truck hit you, and you don't win with a rocket launcher. And it's like, your boy taking that fall in Pittsburgh off the top of the cell is modern pro wrestling. That's where that came from, baby. So again, if you've got that big of a problem with it, hold your guys' feet to the fire. And if you're not willing to do that, then no one has to listen to you. That's why I just have no time for his opinion, because it's like, nah, you let your emotion make it up for you. You and I talk about all the time, man. There are plenty of people in wrestling that I do not like. There's hardly anyone I've ever seen that I hope anyway. Probably Orton. Orton would be the guy that I guess I just let my opinion get away. But I've just never seen anything I liked. Ever. Yeah. Even Alexa Bliss, who I do not like. But man, when she started using those elbows, it's like, yeah, that's what I want to do, man. So yeah, anybody that does anything, it's good to be able to separate how you feel from what you're seeing. And he cannot do that. So there's no rule. It's one of two ways. If you're a fan of Jim Cornette, that's great, because you always know what you're going to get. But I think that being a fan because he hates AEW so much, it's like, it's more of the thing about like the news, where it's funny, is I really am trying to stay away from the news, but it's hilarious how many people that I like to listen to, and they all lean very, very heavily left. But it's funny how many of them have the exact same talking point today. And what's that talking point? Tucker Carlson, oh my God, Tucker Carlson. Oh God, his ratings, so many people are watching Tucker Carlson. Yeah, why? Because all those people that were watching Maddo, because they see what that bitch says about Donald Trump today, they ain't watching no more. Hate watch is where it comes from. Hate watch is where your ratings come from. So all those people that wanted to see what Maddo was going to say so they can get real mad about it, they're not watching her anymore. Now they're watching Tucker Carlson. And guess who they took with them? All those other people that used to watch Maddo that now want to go see, oh man, what's that piece of shit Nazi going to say today about Joe and Kamala? Hate watch is the difference. That's exactly what happened. And the more, like we talk about, they can discuss all the time about how, well, we covered the show to help AEW out. That's not how business works, you dumb shit. Everybody knows. And the fact of the matter is, if this wasn't the case, prove it. If your numbers didn't fucking die when you stopped talking about them, send out a tweet. You got access to those numbers, but you won't, and everybody knows why you won't. So you can keep talking that shit if you want to, but everybody knows you need them, and it sucks. I really feel bad for them. Not quite as bad as when they did the Raw SmackDown. It's not SmackDown so much, but the Raw reviews, because you could tell they were both physically in pain watching that shit.
Yeah.
And I felt bad for them, but they stopped.
Why should I do that?
Dude, seriously. And it's like, man, this just sucks. If it's that bad, I wish you would stop doing it. But with AEW, they can't, because that's their ratings. That's all. People hate watch AEW and then listen to Jim say the shit they wanted to hear. It still counts, man. They all get it, but it's just he's so weird about that. They're gonna watch. Advertisers aren't gonna watch these girls bleed, and the parents aren't gonna back up. And I guess that's the weird thing and corny is just kind of out of touch in that regard. I hate to say that because everyone's like, Cornette's problem is he's out of touch. No, Cornette's problem is he ain't got no goddamn objectivity, and he can't understand that things have moved the fuck on, including Dave Meltzer, which that whole rivalry is so goddamn pathetic.
Yeah.
But anyhow, the thing about, well, you know, what parents are going to be watching that show and their little daughter says she wants to be a wrestler and they say that, who's going to support that? How many fucking girls or men or anybody else that wants to be a wrestler do you think parents are lining up and be like, yeah, go get them?
Yeah, that is.
I understand that old Mama Cornette had your back on every damn thing you ever wanted to do, but that is a very, very rare thing. So not being able to clear your throat and understand that I might not have the best perspective on this, that's just dumb. Cornette's not a dumb guy, but that's dumb. You got to. It's like that's not what it's about, brother. And if you think that there aren't little girls watching Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa being like, I know what I'm gonna do now.
Mm-hmm.
You're crazy if you think that didn't happen.
Oh yes,
because that happened, brother.
Yeah, that's lining up. and for any mom or dad that's out there and says, why don't you try something else? I totally get that too.
Yeah. If you know, really, let's not even pretend about pro wrestling, thumbtacks, barbed wire, any of that stuff. Wrestling's entertainment. Anybody that wants to get into entertainment and their parents don't enthusiastically get behind them, I understand.
Yeah,
I do understand.
You know she has a dental practice as
That's
well.
Right. You know that requires a medical degree, right? Just want you to know. It would be awesome. It's like, I want to be just like Dr. Britt Baker, DDS. Oh, really? And then you find out who that is, and it's like, oh, my.
oh, shit.
Well, just fuck me, honey.
No.
I said no. No.
I don't think so.
Are you sure you want to grow up to be a professional wrestler, honey? That's right. If you guys haven't seen Mighty Wind, after you go and listen to the Dusty Rhodes story on Marty and Sarah, check out Mighty Wind.
Do yourself a favor.
God, Fred Willard is so great anyway, but it's weird because Fred is so funny and everything, man, but there is that one, it's weird, we talk about that with like, there are bands that you love, and it's really rare that you have that one song or that one album that is your definitive favorite. Movie actors are kind of like that too. Directors are like that too, where it's odd to have just the one that you know is your favorite. But with Fred, as great as he is at everything, that's, oh my God, that's the one.
Yeah. I don't know why this story just kind of popped in my mind, but talking about movies and wrestling and it's kind of made me think of something that, and Marvel comic shows, made me think of something that kind of clicked in my head the other day when I had some stuff on the DVR that I was behind on, and I was like, I'll sit down because I really like I think it's Straight Up Steve Austin is the show, and basically had the whole season that I hadn't watched, and I sat and watched some, and they're all good because it's Steve sitting down and chilling with anybody. He has that way about him that somebody I'm not even that into, he can make him interesting. And I watched an episode that he did, and I think I've cast the role of Reed Richards.
Yeah.
Through his show, because he sat down and he did a show with Joel McHale. And Joel McHale shows up jacked as hell, looking like he's probably training for it already. Because I know everybody has it in their mind that role's going to John Krasinski. I don't think so. Because watch, and this has nothing to do with anything, but sit down and watch Straight Up Steve Austin with Joel McHale, and it's the perfect blend of guy's got a good physique. Because I don't think John Krasinski and him are that far in age, difference in age. So he's kind of age appropriate. He has the right amount of prickishness and funny to him. They're like, man, that's freaking Steve. I think that's Steve Richards. Or Reed Richards. I'm sorry. sitting right there, and I was sitting there casting the movie as I was watching the show, and I was like, I think that's what's going to happen. I really do.
Nah, that'd be great, man, because you need Reed to be a little heelish, man. I'm with you. It's
Yeah.
like, and again, my thing with Krasinski is if that's what it takes to get Emily Blunt to be Susan Storm, whatever. But God, if we can get Susan Storm and anybody else to play Reed, I'd be okay with that, because I just love me some Fantastic Four. You can't see them. I've got my 10 bajillion Fantastic Four books behind me, but they're in the floor, so I won't tip the camera or anything. But they're there. That's what I'm looking at back there.
Yeah, man. There's something about it, and even going back, you could probably go back and watch just if you want to watch the suit that he was on. There's never a bad time to go check that out on YouTube or even a Community. Even I think you can kind of see it. Like, I think that might be Reed I'm looking at.
I get down with that, man. As far as like that type of humor, this might be a jump, but I don't know. I think there's a similarity in their like style a little bit. The Venture Brothers answer to the Fantastic Four. I'm pretty sure
yes.
that was Colbert that played.
Yeah.
That was him on this. Like, man, they pushed the asshole pedal really hard. But hey, man, if you ever read Fantastic Four, Reed's a dick a lot of the time, man. So it's like having somebody that, not all the time, but someone that can do it. John McHale, that'd be awesome. I would love that, man.
Yeah. So I'm calling it now. It's documented for history.
That would be great. I'd be totally cool with that, man. Excuse me. That was interesting. I was thinking the other day about just what fun YouTube shows. I was like, man, what do you want to do? What would be cool for YouTube? Because if I'm going to do anything for YouTube, it's got to be short, because my camera just won't last that long.
Yeah.
But there used to be this podcast where these guys literally started with Fantastic Four #1, and they would review every issue of the Fantastic Four all the way through. Cool. And I kept going and kept waiting and kept waiting. It's not like I listened to all of them. I didn't, because I caught it years into it. But I'm like, yeah, this is cool. I like this. And they are getting right to the corner of the John Byrne run. And they shut the show down.
Damn.
And I was like, you got to be kidding me, man. So that would be fun. I would like to pick up that mantle and do Reed Richards, John Byrne's Fantastic Four. That would be real cool. But it's also long, because he was there for many, many years. But I was thinking Mark Waid, and his name just Mike Wieringo. Like, and Ringo wasn't there the whole time, but Mark Waid wrote it the whole time. That would be awesome, because that's not a ton of books, and also they're modern comics, so you can read them in 4 minutes if you want to. But I'm like, that might be kind of fun. So I'm thinking about it right now, man. If you guys want to see on this here channel, because I'm gonna rip off the man, if you want to see reviews for Mark Waid's Fantastic Four books, leave a comment below. let us know. But I think that would be cool. So that might be it's a short project too, because he wasn't, he was there like maybe 3 years or so, but I think about 35 issues will knock the whole thing out. And that really is one of my favorite runs on any comic ever. I was thinking about that. I love doing like mental lists and stuff. And excuse me, as far as my favorite series of all time has got to be Sandman. It really is amazing. And it's done, so you can make a comment on that one. Oh shoot! But as far as like stuff that happened within an actual series, that Mark Waid's Fantastic Four might be my favorite. I love that book, man. It is so good. And then like for limited stuff, like we're doing this for a year, it would almost have to be All-Star Superman. It's just All-Star. We've talked about it before, man. That All-Star Superman is that book that I have like so idealized and romanticized. And then I went back and reread it, and it was better than I remembered. And then I waited a couple of years and read it again, and it was better than the last time I read it. It's insane how good that series is. There's another one. After I do Fantastic Four, I can do All-Star Superman.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, dude, that'd be cool, man.
Any book you come across with Mark Waid's name on it, I think you can kind of settle in and know you're gonna have a good time.
I have had a very similar experience. I don't think I've ever read anything of his that I wasn't just like, yeah, right on, man.
Yeah.
between that and Kingdom Come, and then some of his Avengers stuff, his Captain America stuff. Mark Wade's bad. I'm with you. I love that guy.
Heck yeah, man. Good stuff.
That's what it's all about. Oh, on the subject, this was something I was thinking about earlier. I'm gonna put the man over real quick.
Oh shit.
Pardon me. Now that people are talking about, and it's funny that apparently all it took for half the world to just be like, Justice League, never mind, was to see the runtime. Apparently, was to see how long it was. They're all like, hey, you know what? Fuck that.
Yeah, no, thank you.
But dude, 4 hours, like, okay, man. I guess my problem with the 4-hour runtime is make two.
Mm-hmm.
Make two. 4 hours and 50 minutes, 220, 230. You're good. But it's whatever, man. Anyway. But on the subject of DC movies that I am excited about, I was just thinking earlier today about your prognostication to go along with the Reed Richards prediction.
Mm-hmm.
But the prognostication that the Batman might be the kickoff point for a long Halloween style series. I really hope that's what they do.
So.
I hope that's what they do, because that would be so cool. Because the whole deal with like, well, we got to do Zack Snyder's Justice League so we can do the Avengers. Do the Avengers with Batman. He's the only character you have anyone gives a shit about anyway. And you could release 10 Batman movies in 2 years and people would be happy. Nobody would be upset. No one would be upset about that. So that would be awesome. I'm like, man, if they really like took that story and slowed it down and just made it as close to, I hate to say as close to the book, but as far as the pacing and I would love that. I'm with that. That's a really good idea, man, because good God, that's a good story.
From what I understand, and I wouldn't know because I don't plan on watching it, but they took the Snyder cut, and I think you have options with how you can watch it. You can sit down and watch it all in one chunk, or you can break it up into they do have it in episodes, but at the same time, it's I've heard people say that, yeah, man, his take on it was better. So you're saying it's good? I didn't say that.
Exactly.
I didn't say that. No,
better. Yeah, better than the previous Justice League leaves you a whole lot of area to still be shit.
Yeah.
It's just
it's like what we've both said for years is the problem to me that always comes up with the Justice League is you have Superman show up and saves the day all the time. So why does he need to be around these other losers?
Jerry Seinfeld's
pretty much what happens in the movie from what I've heard.
Dude, yeah, Jerry Seinfeld's take on the Justice League has always been a very good one, and that's the point. It's like, he's Superman. What kind of help does he need? And we've talked about that before, man, where I've had conversations with several friends who think Superman is the most boring superhero in the world. And yeah, for his monthlies where he shows up and fights the bad guy and wins at the end of the day, yeah, he is. But at the same time, I just described every superhero in the world. With Superman, where things get interesting is when you focus on the people around him. You know, just like Batman, like we've talked about, man, Commissioner Gordon's a big deal. That's real cool. But you got Commissioner Gordon, you got Alfred, and you're pretty much done. You know, Barbara, if you start doing that, but you got to be careful because people will expect, what's her face, Alicia Silverstone to come back. But there's not a ton of people that you can really do. Superman's supporting cast is kind of cool. Anyhow, it's silly, but I like Superman. But the main thing is, like we talked about, like with All-Star, like standalone books are outstanding because people can come up with isolated ideas that have like a beginning, a middle, and an end, and then this is the story you're telling. But for every single month from now until the end of time, yeah, they suck, but they all suck. And Batman's way more boring. He just is. Every time Batman, that's the problem. That's my thing with Justice League as a comic book, man, is it's not Superman, it's Batman. As soon as Batman shows up, okay, they're gonna win.
Yeah.
Boring. Yeah. Anyway, but I'm with you. I guess my biggest thing with the Snyder cut or the Snyder anything is I just don't understand. I can understand if you really take the Marvel DC rivalry seriously, and you got to get one back, got to get one over on those Marvel guys. If you think that's still a possibility, I guess you'll believe in anything. Mm-hmm. But it's not possible, so just relax.
Yeah.
But yeah, just go with the one that. Like I said, man, I think the biggest problem that the DC stuff runs into is not DC, it's WB. And Warner Brothers made Batman, made a lot of money off of it, so they think they know better. Where Disney was all like, you guys know comic books, so do the comic book thing. It's all good.
Yeah.
Disney does not claim to be a movie producer and that they know what they're doing. What they know how to do is market the fucking shit out of everything. And
Yes.
also, this was the big one, especially for me as an NBA fan who gets really tired of the poor NBA getting flogged for doing business with China. I'm like, it's interesting that the NBA has a problem or has problems for doing business with China. But Walt Disney and the federal government, that's totally okay. And I'm like, wait a
Wow.
minute, man. If it's a problem, it's a problem. And as far as the NBA and China are concerned, they go and they play basketball. They put basketball on the airwaves and people watch it. That ain't what Disney does. Disney completely shoots separate movies for China because you have to, because it's a communist country. If your art does not put over the regime, they don't release it. So guess what the Avengers love in the Chinese version of those movies? Communism. They love it. That's the point. It's like, okay, but that's okay. Then personally, I don't have a problem either way, because like we've talked about it before. Not to get into politics, because it's fun to not talk about politics anymore. But man, when you decided that the economy was global and you decided that you wanted to go to every corner of the earth to scratch out whatever denomination, that's not the word I'm looking for. I'm sorry, I don't remember I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, man. Whatever currency, that's it. Where you want whatever currency they have there, you want them. That's how that works. Once you guys said that was okay, all right then. Game set match. That's real easy. But it's either okay for everybody and okay for anybody or anyone. It's either okay for everybody or it's not okay for anyone. I personally do your thing. It's because it's always what you were gonna do. Anyhow, sorry I got sidetracked. But I really would like to see the China cuts of the Avengers, because I like the idea of Steve Rogers catching Mjolnir, and then instead of it being for Pete's sake, Sam Wilson in his ear, it's Chinese government calling.
Yes.
We'll open up the doors now, Cap. Yeah. They're the ones that beat Thanos.
Yeah. We're here. We're here to save you. And Superman.
You're good now.
Bye-bye.
We're fine. Everyone's fine here. How are you? That might be the one line from the original Star Wars. If you really want to see what the difference between the originals and the prequels was, it's Harrison Ford's. We're slight weapons malfunction, but we're fine. Everyone's fine now. We're fine. How are you? You would never get that in the prequels, man.
No. There's no room for that.
Dude, seriously, man.
In my masterpiece.
No room for what? Acting. I won't stand for it.
No.
Hides under the table. Jeebus a good guy. What the fuck? I haven't seen that in a long time. I need to look that up and watch it again.
They had another one.
That's awesome, man. Dude, I gotta go look it up now because I haven't seen it. It's been too long. Man, it seemed like for all the junk I've talked, man, it does seem like there was one other thing that I saw and was going to discuss. I didn't see the New Japan Cup. I saw who won it. Ospreay beat Shingo, which I hate because I'm just not a huge Ospreay guy. But I mean, it's cool. They've said the match was great, which I totally believe. But the upside is that whenever New Japan World, they do like one YouTube free match a week. And I'm really considering cutting my cable off again because, excuse me, I think with the Fox Sports app, you can still watch pretty much anything. But even if you can't, excuse me, the Falcons, good Lord. The Hawks on the radio are great. The Braves on the radio, we talked about baseball on the radio is the best. That is just, it's the coolest. It's the best. And soccer on the radio is not bad. So the guys I want to keep up with, man, I can just 92.9 it and we'll be okay. And I can, run down the Bravos because as we've talked about, holy crap, you want to be impressed by something, man, look up the Atlanta Braves Baseball Network for radio. It is unbelievable, man, because I always hate whenever anyone refers to their team as fill in the blank nation. It's Gator Nation, Husker Nation. I can't stand that because Braves country has been Braves country for many, many, many decades, and by God, it fucking means something.
Yep.
Here's how you find. If you want to find out what Braves country means, man, anytime they're on the road in Colorado, Arizona, basically any place that's gotten an expansion team in the last 40 years, just check the bleachers, man. Because way before they got those teams, they got the superstation. So they were fans, man. It's cool. It's real cool. And the main thing with like Braves Nation is pretty much if you get a map of the Southeastern Conference states, Braves. That's it. That's including Louisiana, because I mean they got the Saints and they got the Pelicans, but they don't have a baseball team. So it's like it's really fascinating that like I've always said that Brave season is how it's the reason that SEC fans don't kill each other, because you have college football season, everyone's at each other's throats, but come summertime, man, they're all on the same page. We all get down with the all get down with the same team. And like, yeah, it's cool. That's good, man.
Yeah. It works out, man.
For real, man. How freaking Justin Timberlake's going to ruin that by putting that team in? It's Nashville, isn't it?
Yeah.
I knew it was. It's Tennessee. I just can't remember what city it was, but I'm actually really excited about that. It's like, oh man, that would be cool. Pro baseball in Tennessee. That would be sweet, man.
I'd be down with it. Check it out.
I think it's cool, especially if they can get anything near. Excuse me, like the Predators support, because the Predators fans are awesome, and their soccer team is real well supported too, man. Nashville's cool. It's like, I didn't think they cared about nothing but University of Tennessee football. Well, get a map of Tennessee and you see how far Nashville is away from Knoxville, and you'll get nope, that's cool. It's all good. Now that is why Nashville's a big city, but that is why all the teams go there, because then you don't have to compete with Rocky Top. But hey, you don't have to compete with Rocky Top. Come on over here.
It's a big plus.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah, it's cool, man. It's the same thing like with when the NHL put the Blue Jackets in Columbus. People were shocked because no one. That's why Cleveland, Cincinnati, go to one of those two. You don't want to compete with Ohio State, and they did. And they did good. So it's like, okay, cool then. And apparently on that subject, man, somebody told me recently that the new stadium they finally built for the Crew, apparently is sick. And I love that because Columbus Crew fans are pretty awesome. So championship last year, new stadium this year. And then basically I think the whole point was that MLS is like, get this fucker out of here. They just hated the guy that owned the team. So they've kicked him out, and now everything is right with the world.
Yeah, man. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's how we do it, man. I like your read prognostication. I'm gonna think about that. That's cool.
Check that episode out. See if you get the vibes that I got.
Get that read vibe.
Yeah, man. That's what I'm talking about, man.
That's how we do it. Y'all, thank you for watching, and leave comments below. Tell us, hey.
Hello.
Hello.
Man, I'll see y'all.
Take it easy, y'all. Thank you, man.
Bye.